Guten Tag. So we're back for the second video of Jules' experiences, and today we're going to be talking about my vegetarian lifestyle, because I know a lot of people out there just have this misconception of like, oh, we're so unhealthy as vegetarians, but here to clarify that we are not unhealthy and there's a good lifestyle to live. So let's jump right in. Okay, so here we are, video numero dos, and I'm just going to start off by telling you guys what it means to be a vegetarian, because there's a lot of people out there who confuse being a vegetarian with a lot of other different fucking diets, and I don't understand why. So a vegetarian is someone who doesn't eat meat, and meat is anything from a cow, chicken, fish, any little rodent, anything that's living you cannot eat. But people seem to confuse it with a pescatarian, and that's someone who only eats fish and vegetables and all that other stuff. And I just don't know why, like I have a lot of people go up to me and ask me like, oh, you're a vegetarian? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, okay, well, what don't you eat? And I'm like, oh, I don't eat meat. And then the next day they show up and they give me like, I don't know, a piece of chicken. They're like, oh, here, I know you're a vegetarian, so I didn't bring you beef. But no, that's just, come on, guys, use your fucking mind. I first became vegetarian about 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. And I didn't do it for a long time. I did it for maybe a year. And the first time that I did it in a really unhealthy way, like extremely unhealthy. Since I was in high school, I wasn't cooking every day. I was mostly in school. I was going to school from 6 a.m. in the morning to about like 7, 8 p.m. at night. So I didn't have time to really cook. And I was doing a lot of exercising, doing a lot of running. And so I was just doing it really unhealthy. I was only eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that fucks you up really, really good. And eventually, I went back to eating meat, went back to being vegetarian, went back to eating meat, then went back to being vegetarian, went back to eating meat, and now we're here. And exactly, maybe in a week after this video is posted, is when I'd be vegetarian for a whole complete year. And so yeah, it's been a whole year since I've eaten a piece of meat. And I do remember the last time that I ate meat, it was at the dining hall, and I think it was either a nasty chicken sandwich or a nasty hamburger, and it's not really a pleasant experience to end with, I guess. And the first time that I became vegetarian, it was just out of the blue. It was just something that I wanted to try to see if, just see how long I could go without eating meat. And eventually it just became something more, just did a little research on like a vegetarian diet, and then stumbled upon different links, different videos of animal abuse at the slaughterhouses, and just kind of opened my mind and started thinking about like, oh, you can tell that these creatures are feeling pain. And I eventually, like maybe, let's say 2 years ago, I saw this documentary called Earthlings, and I'll put the link in the description down below, and I highly recommend watching that. Like it changed my life, really. But it's just a documentary about slaughterhouses, how they treat the pigs, cows, chickens, how they treat fish, how they treat animals at the circus, the zoo, pets as well, getting them from like those weird pet stores at the mall, just how they're bred, they're called puppy mills, and it's just not it's not something you want to really see, but you have to see it to know where these animals are coming from, and know exactly what you're eating and what they're doing to the food that you're eating, because at the end of the day, these are animals. And I understand that not a lot of people think that the vegetarian lifestyle is the way to go, because they don't believe that animals have that capability of feeling or feeling pain. And I'm not asking you to just watch it so you can change your whole lifestyle. I'm just saying watch it to educate yourself and know exactly what it is you're eating, what you're doing, and of course, a lot of people aren't going to watch it, but I don't know, maybe it's just because, like, ignorance is bliss, but do you really want to live a life of not knowing? Like, I know I didn't want that, so that's why I watched it. I also read this book, and I don't remember what it was called. It was like Buddhism Plain and Simple, or Buddhism for Beginners. I don't know, but, I'll put the link down below after the video once I figure it out. And, I just highly recommend reading this book, because it's not, like like religious aspects of it, like any cultural stuff, like what they believe in, the different holidays. It's just kind of the roots of what it is, kind of what they believe in, the Eightfold Path, Siddhartha Gautama, and just the basics of it, the things that you really need, not all like the ceremonies and all that, and it just the way it talks about life and everything in general is kind of like saying that everything has life, everything has a meaning, everything has a purpose. And I know, if you guys saw my last video, I'm saying that I'm an optimistic nihilist, so I kind of didn't resonate with that, but I still took it to heart, didn't really just throw it out. I just kind of took it into consideration. And yeah, I just kind of opened up my mind and started thinking, like, oh, these animals deserve a better life. They deserve to be treated with respect. And going off of respect, there's this new, like, short Netflix series on Netflix called Watership Down. And honestly, it's an incredible fucking story. Like, I didn't watch it in the beginning because I was like, oh, it's a cartoon about fucking rabbits, I don't want to watch that. But I was just bored one night, put it on, and it's fucking incredible. It's fucking incredible. Like, it's a story about these rabbits, and they're surviving, and they just talk about how their God gifted them with like being tricksters, and how it gifted other animals with like claws, teeth, wings, beaks, and things like that. And it's just incredible. And it talks about humans as well. Like, the rabbits have a conversation where they're saying that humans find like beauty and destruction. They think of being destructive as something cool, and it just really is. And the way that they said is, like, in their eyes, it's not that. Like, it's just really primitive. It's that we're creatures that don't give out respect to other living things, that we just kind of have this like weird kind of ideology that we're superior to everything, and we don't care about anything, the environment, other animals, things like that. And I just highly recommend watching that too. I'll put a link in the description down below also, so you guys can check that out. But yeah, highly recommend that. It'll really get your mind thinking. It's pretty interesting, pretty fucking interesting. And of course, with every ideology or every ism, there's going to be the other group of people who just view it and just don't understand anything about it, and it's just really annoying because you always hear the same things. It's always, oh, you don't eat meat? Like, oh, you don't eat meat? Like, oh, then what do you eat? What do you eat if you don't eat meat? What else do they say? They're like, you're going to disappear. You're going to get really skinny because you're not eating meat. You need to eat. Oh, you're not eating. You're not doing this. Then, of course, there's the other people who just get so fucking surprised. Like, they just kind of blow up and have no idea why. Like, you let them, like, oh, like, I don't eat meat, so I can't really eat that. And they just immediately go berserk. They're like, what? You don't eat meat? Then, bro, you don't eat fucking meat, dude. Dude, you don't eat meat. Then what do you eat then? What the? And it just gets freaking annoying all the time. Like, I don't know what to say at the end. I just kind of say, like, oh yeah, I'm a vegetarian. Let's move on, because I don't want to have that conversation anymore. Especially if, like, you're not really going to be listening. You're not going to be asking questions, or like, you're not going to be learning. We're not going to be learning from each other. So let's just move on. There's no point in having that. And now for the pros. There's a lot of pros in being a vegetarian. Like, the basics. Like, of course, this part's going to be really different for everybody because it's dependent on each person. But you're showing respect for everything that's living. You live a cleaner life. You show respect to the environment. You're not contributing to climate change. and things like that. And in addition to that, you're going to be a lot healthier. You're going to be more active. You're going to feel more energetic if you're eating right. You're going to be thinking about what exactly it is you're putting into your body. You're going to be putting a lot more thought into that. You're also going to be a lot healthier physically. You know, you're going to have less risk of getting diabetes, high cholesterol, and different types of cancer. And finally, just to keep everything short, you're going to live longer if you pay attention to what you eat, where it comes from, and just kind of live a nice active lifestyle while eating lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, lots of grains. You will live a lot longer than those who eat meat, you know, because they'll have a higher chance of developing these diseases like diabetes, you know, high cholesterol, things like that. Now for cons. I'd say the first con is that you kind of have to pay attention to what you're eating, because if you don't, you're just going to get really unhealthy. The number one problem that a lot of vegetarians have is, instead of replacing meats with vegetables in a variety, just like different foods in a variety of vegetables and grains, they switch to cheese, and cheese is really, really high in fat, and it's higher fat than meat, so it's not really doing you a solid, you know. It's just kind of making you more unhealthy. And of course, if you're doing it for the animals, then that's okay, but you just won't be healthy. You won't have those benefits of living the vegetarian lifestyle. Another one is that your B12 is going to go down drastically, and B12 is important for gene repair, and if you are B12 deficient, you're going to have a higher chance of getting depression and just being really down, feeling gloomy. So it's very important to take a supplement or take B12 rich foods. And I'll also put a list of foods that are high in B12s down below, so you guys can check those out if you do decide to go on with being a vegetarian. Another thing, con, is, you know, and I want to say protein deficiency, but nowadays that's pretty hard to get a protein deficiency. Like, we just eat so much protein, like you can get it from other things like beans, like beans, greens, and you can just take a vegan protein shake and you're good. So that's not really a negative. But another one is going to be iron. Your iron levels are going to drop significantly if you're not paying attention to what you're eating. So I highly recommend taking an iron supplement. Make sure you take chelated iron. Make sure to take chelated iron. That's the best, according to what my high school cross country coach said. Take chelated iron, and you should be good. And you know, like if you have low iron levels, you're gonna be really gloomy. You're not gonna be able to wake up in the morning. You're gonna be tired. You're not gonna have the energy that you need. So I highly recommend taking that, or just eating iron-rich foods. And I'll put a list of those down below as well, so you guys can check those out. So yeah, guys, you know, I highly recommend switching over to a vegetarian lifestyle. There's lots of different things that you can drink, you know, lots of different things that you can eat. Probably lots of foods that you haven't even tried, because you always just stick to meat. You know, like you can get introduced to almond milk, hemp milk, oat milk is really good. Different vegetables, you know, just cook them different ways, like zucchini, squash, sweet potatoes, like, you know, the list goes on and on and on, you know. So later on, I'll probably put out another video about what exactly I eat on the daily, and just the foods that I enjoy eating, so you guys can get an idea as to what you could switch over to. And so yeah, with that, I'll leave you guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe also. And I'll see you guys next week for a different episode. So yeah. Thank you for watching.